Remember me? I'm the kid that had a report due on space.
For no reason at all, I really hated this kid. Remember this preppy, smart aleck high schooler that had a project due on space? Well, he popped up on our televisions in 1988, sitting there at the desk in his fake, cheap bedroom, telling us all how he could do his schoolwork thanks to his Encyclopedia Britannica books. A voiceover, a godlike voice, would interact with him to help explain how those books could get him an A on a school report. But he was always annoyed by the voiceover, always calling him out that he's on a commercial, asking when he's going to put the phone number on the screen.
Well, since this has turned out to be a Britannica commercial, I guess you're going to tell me how somebody could get a set.
Actually, I thought I might, yeah.
And I suppose you're going to throw one of those 800 numbers up on the screen. Am I right?
Might as well.
And there it is.
He seemed to come across as a Ferris Bueller wannabe, just without the cool factor. So who was this kid anyway? And how did he get to sell the encyclopedia books? Well, his name is Donovan Freberg, and at 17 he got to play the part of the annoying smartass. Now I said I hated the kid, and I'm sure that's what Donovan and the ad wizards for the Britannica wanted. In fact, it was probably his father that wanted that the most. Who was his father? Well, his father was Stan Freberg, the producer of the TV ads.
No more what? No more entertaining commercials. Yeah, but they love me in that elevator. Yeah, well, Sean King has been giving people all that funny stuff, and evidently, that isn't what they wanted because they haven't been taking the chow mein off the shelf.
Stan himself was no stranger to television. Not only was he the advertising creative director, he was also an actor, a singer, a radio host, and even a satirist. At first, I thought that meant he went to Saturn, but I looked it up, and that's not what it means at all. In 1944, soon after high school, Stan would go to work for Warner Brothers Cartoons after he had been heard doing impressions on a 1943 radio show. That job would have Stan doing voice work for many classic cartoons. He would take over the voice for Junior Bear after the original voice actor was killed in World War II. One of Stan's first radio jobs came when he took over the Jack Benny Show on CBS Radio in 1957. He was told when taking over the radio that he would have to start doing ads every 3 minutes. But Stan, he wanted the same deal that Jack Benny had. That deal was for the show to be sponsored by either American Tobacco or State Farm Insurance. However, there was a catch. He refused to be sponsored or endorse tobacco. In 1951, Stan made his first film debut in the comedy Calloway Went That Away. And believe it or not, he was almost the voice of C-3PO. George Lucas called him up and asked him to do the voice. Stan would also have a string of parody hit songs. We could go on for hours talking about what all this man did. But this video isn't about Stan. It's about his son and those annoying commercials we love to hate.
I always wanted to be a top secret agent. Code name Mozart. You know, make it through Checkpoint Charlie by the skin of my teeth.
Well, that's all over now.
I know, but at least I can read about the good old days in my Encyclopedia Britannica.
Stan was a busy man, but he had time to start his own advertising agency called Freberg Limited. His work on radio and television really helped the company succeed, and it became one of the go-to ad companies for companies to use. In 1988, Encyclopedia Britannica would come to the ad firm looking to help them sell their encyclopedias over the phone. This was the 80s. People going door to door to sell encyclopedias was dying out, and Britannica needed to reach families in a better, more friendly way. After all, no one wants a stranger knocking on their door at 3 p.m. trying to sell them things. So rather than coming to your door, they would come to your TV screen.
He had a report due on space, and then he got the new encyclopedia.
I think I made that abundantly clear.
Now you may have found that kid annoying like I did, or maybe you loved him. Either way, the plan to sell the books worked. At the time of the ads, Encyclopedia Britannica was a 200-year-old company. But those ads with that annoying kid, well, that was their most successful ad campaign in the entire history of the company.
I always wondered where my mandibula was.
Almost overnight, Donovan became somewhat of a Generation X icon. VH1 will rank him at number 83 on their list of top 100 greatest teen stars. And I'll be honest with you, for a long time, I thought he was that kid from Sequest. Now, Donovan wasn't just a smartass we saw in a TV commercial. He would follow in his father's footsteps, doing voice acting, including playing the voice of Linus for a 1977 Peanut cartoon. He would do the voice of Charlie Brown for a PSA in the late 70s.
I've asked Snoopy to help me show some of the ways that we can all help to clean the air we breathe.
He would provide the voice of Montgomery Moose on the 80s cartoon classic The Get Along Gang. Today, he's a successful portrait photographer in Los Angeles. The ads would run from 1988 until 1993, and we kind of forgot about that smart-ass teenager really fast. I mean, it was the 90s. We had grown up in the 80s. We were getting older, getting jobs, having kids, and more. In 2012, Encyclopedia Britannica would give up trying to get people to buy their books and would just stop publishing them altogether, turning their focus to online only.
Do we get to keep it?
Yes. So if you would be interested in owning the new Britannica,
I'm thinking it over.
just call this number.
Looking back now, I kind of see how great the ad was. Sure, he could be annoying, but that did make you stop and listen to what he was saying every time the commercial popped up. Also, now that I'm older and I look back at these ads, I partially blame him for people calling Generation X slackers. And as for that God voiceover, that was his dad, Stan.
I guess you're right.
And as for that report on space, he got a B. Why didn't he get an A? Well, it was too long. Too much information. Damn you, Encyclopedia Britannica.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.